Everybody seeing Jean and Valerie?
Yeah.
The stage is yours, Valerie, Jean.
So we thought we'd start with this one because this is a Rootchi presentation. And thanks to Rootchi, we made a trip to Israel last June. I'm actually wearing the same dress here as I am in this photo. Jean, you want to talk about your accessories first, or shall I?
Go right ahead.
All right, so I mean, everybody here wears accessories, and I'm sure that's kind of why we're having this. It's a celebration of accessories. I just want to point out one or two of mine. One is the great big black sponge bracelets. They're from H&M, and they're for you to make hair buns with. But for $3.99, I thought, well, I'll just buy them now and figure out what to do with them next, because obviously I'm not going to make a hair bun. Here they are. The other thing I wanted to point out was the earrings. They're just made of wood, but wood takes color really well. I think that's enough for the moment. Oh yes, can I just say this is a sort of halo look. All the accessories are on the outside. So the dress is the central point, and everything else kind of puts the focus on the dress. Jean?
And I'm wearing Alambika, a white shawl collar jacket, and white with black polka dot tekbika pants. My signature Norma Kamali turban. This one's polka dot. And Bakelite, lots of Bakelite rings, black and white polka dot bangles, some black resin Angel Caputi alligator bracelet, black plastic cuff. And you know, I collect accessories when I travel. Those are my souvenirs. Instead of getting snow globes, I'll buy, you know, a bracelet in Palm Beach when I'm with my girlfriends, or when I'm in Milan at the car race, I'll go to Angel Caputi and buy my alligator bracelet. So for me, accessories are fun, but they're also memories. And a lot of them I've acquired at vintage shows.
Next. Can we have the next picture, Aline? Jean, you want to do it first?
Great. So I'm wearing a lot of the 8 Senses. It's a store that had a boutique on West Broadway. They're now available online. I'm wearing a red faux fur collar that's also reversible to a quilted design, a really great red jacket that pops, a Moni's round wooden ring that I got at Loot at the Museum of Arts and Design show a couple years ago with Leanne Zimmerman, who's from Australia, that we met through Instagram. My vintage tinted eyeglasses, I'm blind as a bat, I'm BAAB, formal diagnosis, so it gets me through everything. And we put these side by side because the colors really popped. Ms. V?
So this is my over-the-top look. Some of you know that we did some advertising for Essex Crossing, a new real estate development, and they wanted us to push the limits. So this is me pushing the limits. And I'd like to draw, I mean, I want to say not everybody wants to dress like this, and I understand that. This is not trying to tell you how to dress over the top. This is just trying to show you the fun use of accessories. So the colors could change and the materials could change. It's just a way of arranging yourself. So here, to be over the top, there are the great big fat hair buns again. And I'm wearing my Merry Widow black lace gloves. And over that, I've got a ring that maybe you remember Isabella Rossellini's short-lived makeup line called Manifesto. And over her lipstick cases, she put little red plastic things that could be rings. And over her compacts, she put bracelets. So that's what you're seeing there. You're seeing the Manifesto bracelet and the Manifesto ring. And the earrings are, I do a lot of plastic because the colors are so wonderful, and that's a triangular ring, a triangular earring with concentric round circles. So it's a study in pushing the limits.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Next.
So this was for the camp press preview at the Metropolitan. And one of the definitions of camp is excess. So this is an exercise in excess. It's all black and white. At the top is a Schiaparelli black, white, and gray target hat. Underneath that is Flying Tiger checked glasses and 1980s, I would guess, checked earrings. And you can see it's a study in, stripes. Some of the stripes are diagonal, they're vertical, they're horizontal, they're chunky, they're skinny. I've got neoprene bracelets on. They're very narrow. They're almost the size of sliced bread, and a neoprene ring on as well. I think I got that from Dress to Kill. And at the bottom, you can only see half of my shoe because half of my shoe is white and half of my shoe is black. So that's my camp look. Jean, next slide.
So continuing with the black and white theme, as Valerie said, this was our over-the-top photo shoot for Essex Crossing. So we were at the Regal Cinema, we were in a group shot, and the photographer kept, as they'd rearrange people in the scene, they kept putting us sort of center stage so that we got to be in the centerfold of Vanity Fair magazine that was for New York subscribers, and we got our mugs up on the big Jumbotron at Times Square. I'm wearing a black and white polka dot Alambika jacket and pants, one of my favorite outfits. A black straw Stephen Jones hat. It's really wonderful with these big pom-poms on it. A lot of black and white bangles. I think I'm wearing about 6. I've got Bakelite and plastic rings. A lot of my Bakelite comes from Fool's Gold, Sheila Strong, who shows at the Manhattan Vintage Show. And if you're ever on Bleecker Street in the summer on weekends by Our Lady of Pompeii, she's got this great little table with wonderful little treats. What else am I wearing? Resin ball necklace. It's black and white. I think I'm wearing 2 at a time for this one because I said we were over the top. And some of my earrings, they're black and white checks and polka dots. It's a really wonderful, like 60s kind of a chandelier. And on my feet, I'm wearing black and white high top pull-on sneakers. Next.
Gorgeous.
Okay, who's been drawing on our picture? So for me, this was kind of have fun with your outfit. Starting with the hat. The hat, I think, comes from a puppet. I'm not sure, but the name of the company was the Granite State Toy Company. And it's a conical hat. So what I did was push it down on the top, and that gives you 2 looks from the same hat. The necklace is from an Israeli company, Michela Malin, that we got at, we saw at Curate. It's the jumpsuit is by Stella and Lori. And in order to kind of weave something into that, I put in a great big red belt. And it's not just a great big red belt, it's a red belt with a sort of slash to it. So it kind of breaks up the oneness of the jumpsuit. The red bracelet that you can see on my left as I look at the screen it's actually kind of hairy. It's 3-dimensional. It's beads, but the seed beads kind of sprout up off the bracelet, so it's not just a flat thing. It's got dimensionality and texture. And trying to get through this as quickly as possible, I think I'll just attract your attention to the shoes. They're racing car shoes by Vanelli, or maybe by Van Eli. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But they have little wheels on them. They're applique, they're not real wheels, but it has wheels and a bumper and a fender and you might be able to see the windshield. So this one is kind of have fun with your outfit. Jean.
And we were at the Guggenheim at the end of January before all of, the bottom fell out. So we were having fun. Most of the gallery was closed off, so we were in smaller galleries, but you were up close to and personal with the art. It was fabulous. I'm also wearing a Stella and Lori dress. It's black tiered long, it's sleeveless. They're Israeli designers, so we really liked their work. We're amazed by Israeli design these days. I'm wearing a necklace by an Israeli designer whose name will come to me, that I got at the Philadelphia Museum Craft Show. I'm wearing a hat, also conical, and comical with an M, by Rodney Patterson. His line is called Essential. And the day we came back from the Philadelphia Museum Craft Show, Valerie and I went to a Brooklyn craft show and became acquainted with him and his products. I'm also wearing a black and white Balenciaga vintage sweater that I got at a current affair at Industry City. It's one of these LA groups that comes through with a vintage show. We were supposed to have one in February, it's postponed. And I'm wearing my Trippin' boots. Next.
Cool.
Yeah.
Next
I
one.
apologize for the small drawings that are on the presentation. I guess I left the PowerPoint on and my kids were drawing on it. As a joke. We're trying to trace where it's coming from until we move it. Adding more.
Artsy touch.
Yeah.
So you might remember that Deanna Vreeland once said that pink is the navy blue of India, meaning that everybody and their uncle wears navy blue. So I got to the point where I just didn't want to wear navy blue anymore, but I like blues. So I'm on an endless search to find different kinds of blues, and that's what this is all about. Just using colors that are not the standard colors, I guess I would call this. So at the bottom, or depending on your viewpoint at the top, those are Ausch boots in, I don't know, I might call them cobalt blue. And I've matched them up with socks showing astronauts in astronauts spacewalking. The top of the socks are that medium kind of blue. And in order to show that off, I had to roll up my pants legs. The earrings are another neon kind of blue. You might be able to see that they're buttons. And so they're takeoffs on the Patrick Kelly buttons of the 1980s. And the hat is a kind of purplish blue. It's not showing up very well here, but that was the idea, was to use colors as the main thing, not the clothing itself, but the colors. Next.
So the link here are shoes. Valerie had her blue shoes. This was 2013, getting ready to go to the Easter parade, and I was channeling my inner Easter ninja. But I'm wearing customized Dansko clogs that I had giant platforms put on, and then I covered them with the Avery dots to add my polka dots. I'm wearing a vintage black straw Darcel hat from 1960, Yunya Watanabe collaboration with Puma neoprene coat, Hidari black and white polka dot pants, customize my shoes, my samurai sword umbrella. It's hard to see in this photograph, but I did learn one day when I actually wore it to a courthouse to testify in my old job, that you go through extra security when you have anything that resembles a samurai sword. I'm wearing 1960s polka dot chandelier earrings and lots of vintage Bakelite and gold rings. Next.
Again, I apologize. I have no idea where it's coming from.
The theme here is kind of get it while you can. Mustard is a very hard color to get in accessories and really in anything. We're good at black and white, we're good at navy blue, and then after that, colors kind of come and go just as everything else does. There are fads and trends, and you'll see them everywhere for a year, and then you won't see them ever again. So when I had the chance to buy a bunch of stuff in mustard, I bought a bunch of stuff in mustard. So there's my mustard fedora, and there are my mustard wool gloves. And these, I want to point out, they're really fabulous because the cuffs on them are sewn in and they work as windbreakers. So when the wind would theoretically get up your sleeves, it won't, because the cuffs will get in the way of the wind. The earrings are actually from the 1980s. So if you have a particular color that you like, hold on to it. Don't let go of your earrings or whatever else you don't think will come in again. The yellow glasses are from a recent street fair. And I went out and got myself a pair of yellow boots and a pair of yellow pants. So I'm set unless I gain 10 pounds for the next decade. Next.
So in keeping with Valerie's mustard theme, I'm wearing sort of a mustard orange Idiosyncratic glasses. The frames are, I've got my prescription lens in them. I'm wearing just 18 vintage Bakelite bangles. Some of them from one of my friends, Greg Farrington and Paula. They took me to a wonderful Pasadena, California vintage section, and I loaded up. I'm also wearing silver recycled rubber earrings that are made out of flip-flops by Keith Lewis Studio. He's got a studio in this Hudson Valley, but I actually purchased them in a craft store in Columbia, South Carolina. And I'm wearing a gray GU top as my background. And then silver hair, which goes with everything.
Yeah.
Next.
So this was a photo shoot that we did for a magazine called Violet. I think it only publishes semi-annually or quarterly, and the magazine itself is probably, golly, it's more than an inch thick. It's a great big thing. So we're really happy to have been in it. For my outfit, you can see it's very plain and understated. So what I did was to dress it up while remaining plain and understated as much as that's possible for me. So the outfit is all horizontal stripes. And what I did to play with that was I added vertical stripes and diagonal stripes and round shapes. So the necklace, while still being neutral, the necklaces are round. The belt is diagonal. The hat, like my previous hat, is conical. It's got a very round top, and I squashed that down. And I've got a little wooden pin, and I put the wooden pin in the opposite direction to give it some tension. The glasses, of course, are round for the same purpose. And the black earrings, they're wood by Moniz. The black earrings and the cuffs kind of bring it all together. You can't see my plastic Melissa shoes. They look like metal gladiator shoes. They're black and silver. And that's that.
And I wrote down understated because I have to look that up in the dictionary, Valerie, because if you think your outfit's understated, I have to read, there must be a redefinition I'm not aware of. That being said, you know, this is our monochromatic, minimal, maximal look. We both went, we coordinated our outfits because it was a magazine photo shoot. Most of the time we just show up. We try and confer in advance and nobody can make up their minds. We're always surprised by what each of the other is wearing. I've got Amy Downs' conical hat with this wonderful jagged tooth edge, Alambika striped pants, and I think it's like a Zara peplum top, black and white triangles for checks, polka dots, three-tiered earrings again, lots of black and white bangles with dots, with checks, with stripes. And I'm wearing round and octagonal large beads on elastic bracelets, and then my black and white high top sneakers, because a girl's got to get around, right? Next.
So this is a study in opposition and transition. So, put my earplug back in so I can hear everybody. I started with a Perry Ellis sweater that I've probably had for 20 years now, black and white knit. In the middle is a felt, it's not an infinity necklace, but it's a circular scarf. It's an endless scarf. And it's felt, and the top one is machine knitted wool. So I've gone from large handmade knit to felt to small machine knit. That's one of the transitions. And then you go from lots of squares to red squares on a black background to red circles on a black background. And then again, there are the red earrings. They're triangular with the concentric red circles in the center. So I just found that it was fun to look at and sort of challenging for the viewer to figure out what's going on. Jean.
Next.
So keeping the same color scheme, but a totally different print. This was a shot from our Tel Aviv photo shoot with Meyer Cohen back in June. I'm wearing a red leopard Alambika dress. Wonderful departure. A Kamali turban. I've got 2 red and 2 black bracelets. I always carry accessories with me when I travel. I don't carry what my mother would call fine jewelry. I don't carry gold. I don't carry diamonds. You know, I've got my Bakelite, I've got my plastic. You know, so I don't stew about, you know, what I'm carrying. Of course, if I lost my Bakelite, I'd be very unhappy, but it's not like someone's going to rob me for it on the street. I'm wearing a lot of red Bakelite and plastic rings and a red recycled rubber triangular earrings, another set by Keith Lewis Studio, my clear plastic eyeglasses, and I've got this red rubber tube necklace, so you can lengthen it or tighten it by how far in the tube you push the smaller tube. Next.
We were asked to do a shoot for a company called Super She, and they sent us a few of our own photos saying, kind of dress like this. So using their suggestions, I came up with this outfit. I think they wanted this particular kind of color scheme. So I gave them a striped orange jacket and a yellow hat and orange suede harem pants and flat, thank God they're flat, shoes. I guess in showing you this, my purpose was to say, don't be afraid of unusual colors. I know many of you aren't, but you know, orange and yellow aren't in everybody's color scheme. Your favorite color could be purple or it could be olive or something. This is not to talk about orange per se, it's talking about getting out of the traditional color schemes and going for something else. The glasses, not that I mind this, the glasses are not mine. They belong to the company that we did the shoot with, and they're coral colored, so it's perfectly fine with me. The earrings are square, but they're sculpted and faceted. They kind of look like maybe 4 slices of bread all squashed into one. That's not a very helpful description. And the bracelets, Jean mentioned Zara before, the 2 great big, you can see one of my 2 great big cuffs. They're also yellow, they're by Zara, and they're chunky, and it looks like somebody took a very rough chisel and just chopped off bits of it. It's the kind of style that appeals to me. Okay, that's all for that.
Next. So this is great. This was another from our photo shoot in Tel Aviv. Our friend Gili took this picture of me sort of behind the scenes. I'm wearing incredible, and I should have also put in the picture of the back of it because they're 2 separate prints. It's this wonderful black floral on the front. It's an Alambika dress. And on the back, it's got a totally different print, all the same color scheme. I'm wearing a big GU cotton turban with a knit band. You can tighten it, you can fill it up. To make it stand up, I stuffed it with a little tissue paper. I'm wearing black resin lofty vintage necklace. It's hard to see in this, but when it's online and you can expand the screen, you can see a lot of the detail. And I'm wearing black and green, sort of Greek keyed plastic bracelets from this wonderful store on Worth Avenue in Palm Beach. They sell costume jewelry that's just through the roof. And I've got a really wonderful old vintage Kenneth J. Lane black coral bracelet. I'm wearing red plastic and vintage gold rings and black beaded earrings by Zondra Fox. Next.
So speaking for myself, I would call this my DIY to some extent. Jean and I went into a secondhand shop one day and we found a pair of coolie hats in a horrible beigey washed out color that nobody would ever want to wear. And we decided to do an experiment. We bought a can of red enamel spray paint and spray painted both of our hats on the street where somebody stopped to photograph us, thank goodness. So that's a coolie hat that has been painted. But I didn't feel that that was enough for this particular shoot. So I got those little round white labels that you buy at Staples and put those on the hat. And because my outfit has a lot of black in it, I thought, the white is too pushy. So I circled all of the little circles in black. I've got an enameled red earring on, and I thought that was a bit invisible. So I put one of the little circles on that too. That's another paper circle. Beneath that is a necklace. Maybe if you can expand your screen a bit, you can tell that it's got type all over the beads. The beads, well, the necklace, it's not a necklace, it's called a Christmas garland, and it was from Etsy. And the person who put them up said that she would cut out books of Shakespearean plays and make them into beads, and you get to choose the play. I don't remember what the play was. I know it wasn't Macbeth. More likely it was Midsummer Night's Dream or something. So if you are able to close in, you'll see words from a Shakespearean play on the beads. If you buy something like this as a necklace, it's going to cost $100. If you buy it as a Christmas garland, it costs more like $25. So it's worth it to look at stuff from a different angle, just the way I've done with my silly bracelets. All right, I think that's enough on that. Jean?
And this is our last image, so we'll spend a teeny bit more time on this one though. But Payam was the photographer for this, as well as the other black and white Imagista, the other Violet magazine. And he has an Instagram called Payam Healing. I'm wearing a Henrik Vibskoff straw bowler, and one of my favorite necklaces in the whole wide world. It's red plastic Barbie doll shoes in a necklace. I bought it at the Brooklyn Museum in their store when they had their Killer Heels exhibition several years ago. Wearing the long red recycled plastic cylinder Keith Lewis studio earrings. They're made out of old flip-flops, so they weigh nothing. They're fabulous. I think I'm wearing about 13 red and white, red and black bangles, 5 red Bakelite and plastic rings, and I'm wearing a vintage Matsuda sweater that I got from Lulu Vintage in New York. And that's it. So we're done with the images. Thanks, Aileen.
Jean and Valerie, I'm speechless, as you can see. I just want to, I see the clapping, and I would like at the end to clap. Everybody will clap to you, but I want to say something before Valerie is leaving. And so then,
I've got another 10, 15 minutes.
Perfect, because then we can stay and hang out after. But I want to say something that's very, to me, when I see you guys, but also when I see your colleagues on the screen too. All these fashionistas today that we see here, Deborah, I see, Iko, Diana, just to do, Dale, I miss few of you, I'm sorry. But, you know, every time we see you as a group, it's so empowering. You are so humble, all of you. No ego driven. I never meet your ego when we meet or when we work together. Love to share with you all the information about this too, because working with you guys is very different. Never been Valerie or Jean in the front. It's always your love to what you do, is all of your passion to accessories and clothes. I remember the photo shoot that we did together. I was exhausted and you kept going. I said, well, she needs to see all the GU pieces because it's Japanese interesting and Alembika pieces, and you were always excited and have more energy than I do. And just to see you all, the support that you will give each other is incredible as a group of women. There's no competition. You all look very different and very special. So first of all, thank you all for all these female power that is on one screen. Is, to me, I'm happy today. I don't need anything else. But of course, we do, all of you, I'm sure, have questions. I do have questions. So I'll let you ask your question. If you don't have a question, I'll ask mine. But go ahead.